Okay, this video is to show how to unpack and assemble the KeyMat Model 948 seat counter, and to show us how to do this is Jim Kopak. So Jim, take it away.
Good morning, I hope. Here we have a box that's just been received. We haven't finished taping it up, but you get the idea that once it comes into your door, you open up the front lid, and what you see here is some packing material which you can pretty much easily remove. We have power cord. We have the chute assembly with the tools necessary for setting up the bowl, and then we have the package unit with special packing here for shipping. Now this is important because we have a unit which weighs about 50 pounds, and in order for it to survive UPS or FedEx shipping, we've taken extra precautions to make sure that it's well protected. So the first thing you need to do is remove the bowl. The lever arm is something that you'll put back onto the machine, so you save that. Next thing to do is remove the locking bolt, just holding the feeder mechanism in place. You can do that with a wrench. It's also easy enough to do with a pair of pliers if you don't have a wrench. So once that's out of the way, simply remove the packing material. Set that aside, and normally we'll have the unit wrapped up in a plastic bag to keep it protected, cleaner from the sides. So what you can do, it's best to have two people around to take it out. One person holding the box down and flaps out of the way, make it a lot easier. You have a clear space on a countertop next to you so that it's fairly easy to position, because the unit weighs now about 50 pounds. So the easiest way really is to grab it by the feeder mechanism and lift it straight out of the box and place it on the countertop. With that, you should take the rest of the packing materials, put it back in the box, set everything back on top, and set it aside so that if you need to return it for service or an upgrade, the box is readily available.
Right, this video continues on showing how to set the KeyMat Model 948 seat counter up after you take it out of the box. And to help us is Jim Kopak, who's going to show us how to do this.
First thing, find your power cord and plug it into the receptacle on the back of the unit. Everything's clearly marked. Associated next to it is the fuse block in the center, which you should never have to replace. But it's there to protect you. And the power switch. At that point, once it's plugged in, turn the power on. And as you look back at the front of the unit, the counter will come up with some values on it, depending upon where it was when it left the factory. It remembers everything. And we'll now start by setting up the bowl. Once you have the bowl out of the carton, it's a simple matter of just finding the center bowl. It's easy enough to look down the middle, position the control arm, tighten it. You can easily release it, move it to where you want. If it's not comfortable, you can press down with your thumb and on the lever, release it, reposition it, find a nice comfortable place when you need to operate it. So next thing you'll need to you'll want to do this either off the bench or on the machine, is to be able to set up the wastegate, which is there to allow debris to fall off before it gets to the counting stage, and a little deflector, which is here to set your corn or seed, corn in our case today, with down to a single row to make it easier to get to a single row down into the counter. So First thing you probably want to do is, set the deflector, loosen the butterfly screw, turn the screw adjustment, find where you have something that approximates the width of the seed going through it. Tighten the butterfly down. If you have a lot of variety of seed, you may want to set the wastegate aperture. Simply loosen the screws and position the gate to give you more or less opening depending upon the size of the seeds you're actually running. Then you need to tighten screws back down and get ready to run. Then again, just rotate the bowl in place, align it with the counter aperture, the sensor at the top, tighten the bowl down, and the setup is complete. The other thing you do if you're using the chute to bring your seed off the machine, position it onto the sensor exit. There's a mark on the spot on the exit to where you can line it up to make it easy to find the locking position. And you notice there's two retaining holes on each side so that it will hold the chute solidly in place. So once it's lined up, tighten it back down, and the chute is ready to run.
This video is going to show how to totalize the count on the Model 948 KeyMat seed counter. And to help us through this is Jim Kopak, who's going to demonstrate the process. Okay, take it away, Jim.
Okay, what we have here is the main counter setup. The top row indicates, the larger digits indicates the actual count of the seeds. The bottom display shows the preset number, which is used in batch mode, which we'll talk about next. So in order to get things started, you simply need to put the switch into the totalize mode, hit the reset button if the value isn't at 0, and then adjust your speed to start feeding seed up the feeder bowl. The idea is to set the speed at a rate which is fast enough to move the seeds along comfortably without losing them or having them jump off and out of the bowl. Slower is typically better, but again, it's up to you and your type of seed you're running. So at this point here, we see the seeds are running through. The count, if you look at the counter, you see it's continually increasing. And at this point, I'm just going to stop the process and place it back into control switch into the standby mode, and now you have a total of 54 seeds in the container. Just throw those back in, and now we'll go back and do okay, now we're going to demonstrate the batch mode of the 948 seed counter. At this point here, you can adjust the count by pressing the appropriate digit on the line below the display. Set it to a value that you want to accumulate to. Hit the reset button, clears the count, so you're ready to run to that value. You place it down into the batch mode, and it'll start running, and it will continually accumulate. Let's turn it up a little more. So our seeds are now running through the process counter. Every seed that runs through the sensor is accounted for. And here we have the total that we have already desired. It's been reached, and the machine shuts off. If you want to do another batch, you simply hit the reset button, and the process starts all over again. So the counter runs by itself until the count has been reached, at which time it stops again, and we now have accumulated batch of 32 seeds.